Jiho Kim stood in the center of the great hall. Above him, the dome showed stars from 1,000 worlds. Around him sat the leaders of 50 different alien races. They all stared at him with eyes that looked nothing like human eyes. Some had 3 eyes. Others had eyes that glowed in the dark. The Vorthak had no eyes at all, but could see through their skin. Today was different from other days. Today, they would decide what to do with humans. Jiho had been Earth's voice in this place for 5 years. He had seen humans fight wars for these aliens. He had watched human soldiers die on worlds with names he could not say. He had signed papers that sent human ships to fight battles that were not their own. The Vorthak High Priest Zeltara moved forward. Her skin was blue and covered, with small lights that flashed when she spoke. "Human ambassador," she said in a voice like singing crystals. "We have made our choice." The hall went quiet. Even the air seemed to stop moving. "For too long your species has brought violence to our peaceful galaxy," Zeltara continued. "You fight our wars." "Yes. But you enjoy it too much. You make weapons that are too strong. You solve problems with force when we would use words." Jiho said nothing. He had learned that speaking too soon in this place was always a mistake. "The Council has voted," Zeltara announced. "Humans must give up all weapons. You must close your war schools. You must let us teach your children how to be peaceful. If you do not agree, you must leave our space forever." The words hit Jiho like a cold wave. He had expected this day might come, but hearing it still felt like a punch to the stomach. "How long do we have to decide?" Jiho asked. 72 hours, said Speaker Nothulan of the Ethereal Assembly. His voice came from a floating ball of light. "This is generous. Many wanted to give you no time at all." Jiho looked around the room. These beings had called for human help so many times. When the Mordani worlds were attacked by space pirates, humans had saved them. When a plague hit the Quilarian colonies, human doctors had found the cure. When trade routes were cut by raiders, human ships had made them safe again. Now they wanted humans to become something else. Something that was not human. "I understand," Jiho said. "I will take your message to Earth." "We are not being cruel," Zeltara said, and the lights on her skin flashed faster. "We want peace. Humans bring war wherever they go. Even when they try to help, they use violence first and think second." Jiho thought about Captain Minho Park, who had saved a Trinali passenger ship last month. The ship was being attacked by raiders. Minho could have tried to talk to the raiders. Instead, he had destroyed their ships and saved 3,000 alien lives in 6 minutes. The Council saw this as proof that humans were too violent. Minho saw it as saving lives quickly. "Your answer must come in 3 days," Speaker Nothulan said. "Choose to be peaceful, or choose to leave." Jiho bowed the way humans did in this place. The message will be delivered. Far away, on the edge of human space, Captain Minho Park was reading reports on his ship. The Soul's Pride was the newest ship in the human fleet. It could travel faster than any alien ship. Its weapons could crack a moon in half. Its shields could stop almost any attack. Lieutenant Commander Yuna Lee walked onto the bridge. She carried a message pad in her hands. "Sir, we have an urgent message from Ambassador Kim." Minho took the pad and read it. His face went from calm to angry to sad in just a few seconds. "Call all department heads to the meeting room," he said. "Now." 20 minutes later, the ship's leaders sat around a table. Minho played the message from Jiho. When it ended, nobody spoke for a long time. "They want us to give up being human," said Dr. Sun Wuhan, the ship's chief medical officer. "They want us to be pets," said Chief Engineer Tai Jin Lim. "What are your orders, Captain?" asked Yuna. Minho stared out the window at the stars. "We wait for word from Earth, but start making lists of everything we have that belongs to us. If we leave, we take it all with us." On the research planet Kepler 442b, Dr. Hana Choi was working late in her lab. She was trying to create a vaccine for a disease that killed Altarian children. She had been working on it for 2 years. Her assistant, Dr. Kyung Min, burst into the lab. "Hana, you need to see this." Hana looked at the emergency message on his screen. She read it twice. They can't be serious. Earth is sending evacuation orders to all colonies, Kyung said. We have to be ready to leave in 3 days. If the answer is no, Hana looked at her lab. Samples from 30 different worlds sat in special containers. Data from 100 research projects filled her computers. Medicine that could save millions of lives sat on her shelves. If we leave, what happens to the Altarian children? They die, Kyung said quietly. Hana started backing up her research files. She worked faster than she had ever worked before. On Earth, President Hyejin Nam sat in her office with her top advisors. The emergency meeting had lasted 6 hours. Outside, it was getting dark. The vote from the colonies is clear, said Defense Minister Jae-hwan Ryu. 47 colony worlds. All 47 say the same thing. We leave before we give up who we are. The military agrees, said Admiral Sun Ho-yoon. Our officers will not serve under alien control. President Nam looked tired. And the civilians? Doctors, engineers, teachers, farmers, said Foreign Minister Somin Kang. They all say the same thing. They would rather come home than live as prisoners. Then we are decided, President Nam said. Send the message to Ambassador Kim. Tell him our answer is no. We will not give up our weapons. We will not let aliens teach our children to be ashamed of being human. We will leave. All of us? Asked Admiral Yoon. Every human in council space, President Nam said. Every ship, every station, every colony. We take everything we built. We leave nothing behind. Back in the council chamber, Ji-ho received Earth's answer. He was not surprised. He had known what his people would choose. He walked back into the Great Hall. The alien leaders were waiting for him. Earth has decided, Ji-ho said. We choose to leave. Some of the aliens looked happy. Others looked worried. Zeltara's skin lights flashed in what Ji-ho knew was pleasure. When will you go? Asked Speaker Noth Ulan. We are already going, Ji-ho said. Human ships are moving toward the border now. All colonies are being evacuated. All research stations are closing. All military bases are shutting down. How long will this take? Asked a Quillarian delegate. 1 week, Ji-ho said. Maybe less. That's impossible, said a Trinali representative. You have millions of people in our space. Humans are good at moving quickly when we need to, Ji-ho said. He looked around the room one last time. In 7 days, there will be no humans in council space. You wanted us gone. You will have your wish. Ji-ho turned and walked away. Behind him, the aliens began to argue about who would take over the worlds humans were leaving. None of them thought about who would do the work humans had been doing. They would learn soon enough. Captain Dayun Seo watched her team work. They moved through the Proxima research station like ghosts. Every piece of human technology was being carefully removed. Every computer was being wiped clean. Every piece of equipment was being packed into cargo ships. How much longer? Asked engineer Kyung Shin. He was sweating even though the station was cold. 6 hours, Dayun said. The Quillarians will be here tomorrow to take over. Kyung looked around the empty hallway. What are they, going to take over? We're not leaving them anything useful. That was the point. The station would still be here. The buildings would still work, but everything that made it run would be gone. The power systems had human-designed cores. The computers needed human-made software. Even the air recycling systems used parts that only humans knew how to fix. The walls and floors will still be here, Dayun said. That's all they asked for when they voted us out. In the medical bay, Dr. Wonho Pak was packing the last of the medical equipment. A Quillarian message was playing on repeat on his screen. They were begging him to stay. They were offering him money, land, even a seat on their ruling council. Doctor, we need you, the message said. Our children are sick. Only you know how to make them better. Wonho turned off the message. He had played it 20 times already. Each time it hurt more. He picked up a small device from his desk. It was a gene scanner that could identify diseases in seconds. He had spent 3 years building it. It could save thousands of lives. For a moment, he thought about leaving it behind. Then he remembered the council meeting where the Quillarian delegate had called humans a virus that spreads violence through the galaxy. He put the scanner in his bag. On the farming world of New Busan, Tai Bai stood in a field of hybrid grain. The plants were tall and golden. They could grow in soil that would kill normal crops. They could feed 6 different alien species. His assistant, Minji-Oh, walked up with a sad look on her face. "The harvesting machines are loaded on the ships," she said. "All of them, every machine, every seed bank, every genetic template." Minji kicked at the dirt. "The Trinali are sending ships to take over the farms." Taehyun looked at the grain. Without the harvesting machines, it would rot in the fields. Without the genetic templates, no one could grow new crops. Without the seed banks, the plants would die out in 1 generation. "They voted to kick us out," he said. "Now they can learn to farm their own food." The evacuation ships arrived on schedule. Taehyun watched alien families loading their belongings. These aliens had lived peacefully alongside humans for 10 years. Now they had to choose: come with the humans and lose their homeworld, stay behind and lose their human neighbors. Most chose to stay. As the human ships lifted off, Taehyun could see Trinali ships approaching in the distance. They would find empty farms and dead crops. They would find buildings with no power and machines that did not work. They would find exactly what they had asked for. On the medical station orbiting Aldrin's Hope, Dr. Soo-Yun Cho was saying goodbye to her patients. Most of them were alien children, with rare diseases. Diseases that only human medicine could treat. A Trinali mother held her sick child and cried. "Please don't leave us," she begged. "My daughter will die without your medicine." Soo-Hyun felt her heart break. She wanted to stay. She wanted to help, but her orders were clear. Complete evacuation, no exceptions. "I'm sorry," Soo-Hyun said. "I have to go." "But the medicine," the mother said. "Can't you leave the medicine?" Soo-Hyun shook her head. "The medicine needs to be kept cold. It needs special machines to make more. Without us here, it will spoil in a few weeks." The Trinali mother fell to her knees. Other alien parents joined her. They begged and pleaded and offered everything they had. But Soo-Hyun had already packed the medicine. Her transport ship was waiting. Her replacement was supposed to be a Trinali doctor who had never seen these diseases before. "Why are you doing this to us?" asked an Altarian father. "We never voted against humans." "Your leaders did," Soo-Hyun said quietly. "This is what they chose." Admiral Sun-Ho Yoon stood on the bridge of his flagship. Around him, screens showed the biggest movement of people in galactic history. 200 million humans were coming home. Thousands of ships filled the space lanes. "Status report," he said to his aide, Commander Bora Jin. "Sector 7 is clear," Bora said. "All human colonies evacuated. Sector 12 will be clear in 6 hours. Sector 15 is having some delays." "What kind of delays?" "Alien refugees, sir. They want to come with us." Sun-Ho was not surprised. Humans had made friends in council space. Many aliens trusted humans more than they trusted their own leaders. "What are our orders about refugees?" he asked. "Anyone who wants to come can come," Bora said. "But they have to understand, if they come with us, they can never go back. The council made it clear. Anyone who leaves with humans is banned from council space forever." Sun-Ho nodded. It was a hard choice. Leave everything you knew and follow humans into exile, or stay and hope your own leaders could protect you. "How many are choosing to come with us?" "About 50,000 so far," Bora said. "Mostly scientists and doctors, some engineers, a few teachers." "The smart ones," Sun-Ho said. "They know what's coming." On his private screen, Sun-Ho watched reports from abandoned human facilities. Power grids were failing. Computer networks were crashing. Life support systems were shutting down. The aliens had thought humans were just soldiers and farmers. They had not realized that humans built everything, fixed everything, made everything work. They were about to learn. Engineer So-Min Jang sat in her new office on the colony ship New Seoul. Her computer showed hundreds of messages from alien engineers. They were panicking. Systems that humans had built were breaking down. No one knew how to fix them. "Help us," the messages said. "We'll pay anything. We'll give you whatever you want." So-Min deleted each message without reading it completely. The Human Council had been very clear. No help for council space. Not until they apologized and asked humans to come back as equals. Her old colleague, a hegemony engineer named Krixtal, had sent 12 messages. They used to work together on shield generators. Krixtal had even come to Soman's birthday party last year. But Krixtal had also voted for human expulsion when his leaders asked his opinion. Soman deleted his messages too. Captain Ji-Ho Kim stood on the observation deck of the diplomatic ship, heading home. Behind him, council space was getting smaller. Ahead of him, human space was growing larger. His assistant, Deputy Ambassador Nari Song, stood beside him. "Any regrets?" she asked. "About leaving?" "No." Ji-Ho was quiet for a moment. "About what's going to happen to them?" "Yes. They made their choice," Nari said. "They made a stupid choice," Ji-Ho said. "But people are going to die because of it. Good people. Innocent people." On his personal communicator, Ji-Ho had messages from alien friends. Diplomats he had worked with for years. They were asking him to come back. They were promising that things would be different. But Ji-Ho remembered the vote. 48 species voting to expel humans. Only 2 voting to let them stay. "Maybe they'll learn," Nari said. "Maybe," Ji-Ho said. "But the learning is going to hurt." As the last human ships crossed the border into human space, emergency signals began broadcasting from council space. Power failures, medical emergencies, transportation breakdowns. It had taken humans 50 years to build their place in the galaxy. It took them 1 week to leave it, and in council space, the lights were starting to go out. Veltar stared at the red warning lights flashing across his control board. 3 months ago, he had been proud to command Zephyrian Station 7. It was the biggest trading post in this sector. Ships from 40 different worlds came here to buy and sell goods. Today, half the station was dark. "Status report," he said to his aide, Quinmore. "Defense grid is completely down," Quinmore said. "The quantum processors that ran the shield stopped working last week. Engineering says they don't know how to fix them." Veltar had seen the processors before. They were small black cubes that seemed to think faster than any computer the Zephyrians had ever built. Human engineers had installed them 2 years ago. They had made the station's defenses stronger than a military base. Now they were just expensive. Decorations. "What about the backup systems?" "The backups need the main processors to work," Quinmore said. "Without humans here to fix them, we have no defenses at all." A merchant ship was approaching the station. It belonged to the Krell Pirates, a group that used to avoid this sector because human patrols made it too dangerous. Now there were no human patrols. "Send a distress signal to human space," Veltar ordered. "Sir, we've been sending signals for weeks. They don't answer." Veltar remembered the last message from Ambassador Ji-Ho Kim. "You have chosen to stand alone. We respect your choice." The Krell ship was getting closer. Its weapons were charging. Engineer Somin Jang sat in her office on New Seoul and watched her computer screen. It showed 847 new messages from alien engineers. All of them were asking for help. All of them sounded desperate. She had orders to delete every message without reading it. But sometimes she read them anyway. It hurt to see her former colleagues begging for help. A message from Krixtal appeared on her screen. She almost deleted it. Then she saw the subject line. "Children are dying." She opened it. "Somin, please help us," the message said. "The hospital. Shield generator failed. The one you designed. Without it, the children's ward has no protection from radiation. 30 young ones are already sick. Please, just tell us how to fix it. I'm begging you." Somin stared at the message. She remembered. Building that shield generator. She remembered Krixtal helping her carry the heavy parts. She remembered the celebration when they got it working. She also remembered Krixtal voting to expel humans from the galaxy. She deleted the message, but she couldn't delete the image of sick children from her mind. The Mordani Collective was having their first crisis meeting since the humans left. Collective leader Thondar looked around the table at his advisors. They all looked scared. "The solar flare hit our planetary shields 3 days ago," said science leader Kordal. "The shields are failing. If they collapse completely, our cities will be destroyed." "What about repairs?" Thondar asked. "The shields were designed by Dr. Wanbin Lim's team," Kordal said. "They have quantum regulators that we don't understand. The repair manual is written in human technical language that our computers can't translate properly." Thondar felt his stomach sink. Dr. Lim had been a friend. He had saved Mordani worlds from 3 different natural disasters. His team had made shields that could protect entire planets, and Thondar had voted to expel him from the galaxy. "Send an official request to Earth," he ordered. "Ask for emergency assistance." The message was sent within an hour. The reply came back in 2 hours. It was from President Hyejin Nam herself. "The Galactic Council has voted that humanity is too dangerous to participate in galactic affairs. We are respecting their decision. We wish you well in your time of crisis." Thondar read the message 3 times. It was polite. It was respectful. It was also completely final. "How long before the shields fail?" he asked. 2 days, Cordall said. "Maybe 3. How many people live in the cities?" 2 billion. On the former human medical station, healer Quinella tried to save another child. The little Altarian girl had the same disease that Dr. Soo-hyun Cho used to treat easily. But Dr. Cho was gone. Her medicine was gone. Her knowledge was gone. "The child died while Quinella watched." "That's the 47th one," said her assistant, Healer Morden. Quinella wanted to cry, but her species didn't have tears. "How much human medicine do we have left?" "Maybe 2 weeks' worth. The vaccine Dr. Cho made has already expired. We don't know how to make more." Quinella had studied alien medicine for 20 years. She had learned everything her teachers could. "Show her!" But human medicine was different. It was more advanced, more complex, more effective, and now it was gone. "Send another message to Dr. Cho," she said. "We've sent 50 messages," Morden said. "She never answers." "Send another one." Captain Minho Park stood on the bridge of his new ship. The Soul's Pride was now the flagship of the Human Border Defense Force. Its job was to keep Council spaceships from entering human space. "Contact on the border, sir," reported Lieutenant Yuna Lee. "Quilarian medical ship. They're asking for permission to enter." "What do they want?" "Medical supplies, sir. They say their children are dying from some kind of plague." Minho felt bad for them, but his orders were clear. "Tell them they need to request aid through official channels. We can't help them without permission from both governments." "Sir, they say they've been trying official channels for weeks. No one answers their requests." Minho knew why. The Human Council was waiting for an official apology from the Galactic Council. Not just for individual worlds, for the whole Council. "I'm sorry," Minho said. "I can't let them through." The Quilarian ship stayed at the border for 6 hours. Then it turned around and flew away. Trade routes across the galaxy were collapsing. Captain Yoonji Moon watched alien cargo ships drift helplessly in space near the human border. Their navigation systems had stopped working. The navigation beacons that guided ships through hyperspace were maintained by human technicians. The technicians were gone. The beacons were failing one by one. "Should we help them?" asked her first. "Officer Lieutenant Siwon Park, we can rescue their crews," Yoonji said. "But we can't fix their ships. That would count as providing technical assistance." They rescued 18 crews that week. All of them asked the same question. "When are you coming back?" The answer was always the same. "When the Council asks us to." Dr. Hana Choi worked in her new laboratory on the research station Sejong. Her new lab was bigger than her old one. It had better equipment, but it felt empty. Her computer showed messages from alien scientists begging for help. Diseases were spreading across Council space. Plagues that human medicine could stop were killing thousands. "Dr. Choi," said her assistant, Dr. Kyung-min, "the Altarian Health Ministry sent another request. They're offering us anything we want if we just send them the vaccine formula." Hana looked at the formula on her screen. It was simple. Any decent lab could make it. But without the exact process, the vaccine wouldn't work. "What's the death count now?" she asked. "Over 3 million children," Kyung said quietly. Hana closed her eyes. She had become a doctor to save lives. Now she was watching millions die because of politics. But she remembered the council session where the Altarian delegate had said humans were too violent to be trusted with advanced medicine. The galaxy was learning what happened when humans were not trusted with anything at all. Speaker Nothulan floated in his chamber and read the daily reports. Each one was worse than the last. Systems failing across 48 different worlds. Millions dead. Billions more in danger. The council met every day now. Emergency session after emergency session. But they always reached the same conclusion. They needed humans back. But humans weren't coming back on their own, and they wouldn't come back as servants. If the council wanted human help, they would have to ask for it properly. The question was, how many more would die before the council found enough humility to apologize? Commander Zalteth stared at the blank screens in the Thraxian Military Command Center. For the first time in 50 years, the Thraxian fleet could not talk to each other. Their quantum communication network had gone silent 3 days ago. How? Is this possible? He asked his chief technician, Engineer Polmar. The network needs recalibration every 6 months, Polmar said. Dr. Jiwan Ko's team always did it. They had special codes and procedures. Where are those codes now? Gone with Dr. Ko, Polmar said. They took everything when they left. Zalteth felt a cold fear in his stomach. Without communications, the Thraxian fleet was blind and deaf. Each ship was alone in space. If enemies attacked, they would not be able to coordinate their defense. Can we rebuild the network? Maybe, Polmar said. In 10 or 15 years, if we can figure out how quantum entanglement works. We don't have 15 years, Zalteth said. The Krell pirates are already attacking merchant ships. The Void Hunters are moving toward our border. On his desk, Zalteth had a photo from better times. Dr. Ko was in the picture, smiling after they had finished installing the communication network. She had been so proud of her work. She had said it would keep Thraxian worlds safe for 100 years. Now it was just expensive junk. Yubin Che sat in her office on Earth and watched a hologram message play. The sender was Zelnara of the Pristine Coalition. They had been friends for 8 years. They had worked together on trade agreements. They had shared meals and stories and dreams for the future. Now Zelnara was crying. Yubin, please help us, the hologram said. Our crops are dying. The genetic modifications your people made, they need enzyme supplements that we can't produce. Our people are starving. Yubin paused the message. She remembered designing those genetic modifications. With Zelnara's science team, the new crops could grow in poor soil and harsh weather. They could feed 3 times as many people as normal crops, but they needed human-made enzymes to survive. We made them dependent on us, Yubin said to her assistant, Secretary Jimin Lee. They asked for the modifications, Jimin said. They wanted crops that could grow on their desert worlds, and we gave them exactly what they asked for. Yubin started the message again. I know I voted to expel humans, Zelnara said. I was wrong. I was scared. I thought humans were too dangerous. But now I see that we are the ones in danger. Without you, we will all die. The message ended. Yubin had watched it 5 times already. What should I tell her? Jimin asked. Nothing, Yubin said. Official policy is clear. No individual responses to requests for aid. But Yubin kept thinking about Zelnara's children. She had met them during diplomatic visits. They were sweet kids who loved human candy and human stories. Now they were probably hungry. In the Keth-Moran system, the star was acting strange. Solar flares were getting bigger and more frequent. The star's energy output was increasing beyond safe levels. Dr. Nal Gorin, the system's chief scientist, looked at his readings with growing panic. The stellar regulator is failing, he told System Governor Korlan. What does that mean? Captain, C-1O's engineering team installed it 5 years ago, Nal Gorin said. It's supposed to prevent solar instability, but it needs constant adjustments. The control algorithms are too complex for us to understand. Governor Korlan felt sick. How long before the star becomes dangerous? It's already dangerous, Nal Gorin said. Solar radiation is increasing every hour. If the regulator fails completely, the solar flares will destroy all life in this system. How many people live here? 12 billion. Governor Korlan had voted to expel humans 6 months ago. He had thought they were violent warmongers who caused more problems than they solved. Now he realized that humans had been preventing problems he didn't even know existed. Send an emergency message to human space, he ordered. Sir, they don't respond to emergency messages anymore. Send it anyway. Captain Daeun Seo commanded the human patrol ship Guardian's Watch. Her job was to monitor the border between human space and council space. She saw the emergency message from Keth-Moran's system. 12 billion people, said her communications officer, Lieutenant Hyun Kim. I know, Daeun said. We could help them. Captain O left detailed repair manuals in our database. Our orders are clear, Dayun said. No technical assistance without official authorization. But 12 billion people. Dayun had served with Captain O. He was a good man who cared about protecting innocent life. He would want to help, but Captain O had also been insulted and expelled from the galaxy he had spent his life protecting. Monitor the situation, Dayun ordered. Report any changes, but we do not intervene. The ethereal assembly was in emergency session. Speaker Noth Ulan's light was dim with exhaustion. Around him, representatives from 48 species argued and shouted and blamed each other. The Mordani shields failed 2 hours ago, reported the emergency coordinator. 2 billion dead. Solar radiation is sterilizing their planets. The Thraxian fleet was destroyed by void hunters, reported another aide. They couldn't coordinate their defense without communications. The Quilarian medical crisis is spreading to neighboring systems. The plague has killed 15 million children so far. Speaker Noth Ulan listened to the reports and felt something he had never felt before: despair. What do the humans want? Asked the Trinali representative. The same thing they've always wanted, Noth Ulan said. To be treated as equals. We can't give them equal status, said the Vorthak High Priest Zeltara. They're too violent, too unpredictable. They're also the only ones who can save us, said the Altarian delegate. The argument continued for hours. Some species wanted to apologize to humans immediately. Others still believed they could solve their problems without human help. While they argued, more worlds died. Admiral Sunho Yoon read the intelligence reports in his office on Earth. His spies in Council space sent regular updates on the growing disasters. It's getting worse every day, said his aide, Commander Borajin. I know. Sir, permission to speak freely? Go ahead. Some of the crew are asking why we don't just help them, Bora said. We could save millions of lives. Sunho had been thinking the same thing, but he also remembered why humans had left in the first place. If we go back now as rescuers, what happens next time, he asked. Next time they get scared of us, next time they decide we're too dangerous, what stops them from throwing us out again? Maybe they've learned their lesson. Maybe, Sunho said. But if they haven't, we'll be right back where we started. Except, next time, more people will die because they'll be even more dependent on us. So we let them suffer until they apologize? We let them choose, Sunho said. Same as they let us choose. President Hyejin Nam stood before the Human Council and read the daily reports from Council space. Each number was a tragedy. Each death count was a failure of galactic leadership. Madam President, said Councillor Jaewon Park, how much longer do we wait? Until they ask properly, she said. Define properly. A formal apology from the full Galactic Council. Recognition of human equality. Guarantees that we will never be expelled again without cause. And if they refuse, President Nam looked out the window at the lights of New Geneva. Millions of human refugees were building new lives in human space. They were safe here. They were free here. They were valued here. Then they refuse, she said. We've lived without them before. We can live without them again. But in her private moments, President Nam watched the death counts from Council space and wondered if she was doing the right thing. Were human principles worth alien lives? She hoped the galaxy would not force her to find out. Speaker Noth Ulan's light was barely visible as he floated into the council chamber. Around him, the representatives of 48 species sat in stunned silence. The death counts had reached numbers that hurt to think about. 14 billion beings are dead, he announced. Another 30 billion are in immediate danger. Our civilizations are collapsing. The Vorthak High Priest, Zeltara's skin lights were completely dark. She had not spoken in days. The humans will not respond to individual requests, reported the emergency coordinator. They say all communication must go through official council channels. Then we send an official message, said the Trinali representative. Saying what? Asked the Quilarian delegate. We were wrong? We made a mistake? Yes, said the Altarian representative. That's exactly what we say. Zeltara finally spoke. If we apologize, if we beg them to come back, what stops them from making demands? What stops them from taking revenge? Nothing, said Speaker Noth Ulan. We have to trust them. Trust the species we called too violent to live among us? Trust the species that built our defenses, cured our diseases, and fed our people, Noth Ulan said. The species we threw away because we were afraid. The vote took 6 hours. In the end, only 3 species voted against sending the apology. The rest were too desperate to let pride kill more of their people. Dr. Mina Rowe sat in her office on New Terra and read the intercepted alien medical requests. Her computer showed 847 critical cases that human medicine could solve immediately. Children with genetic diseases, adults with rare cancers, entire worlds facing plagues. She could save them all. She had the knowledge. She had the medicine. She had the authority as director of the Human Colonial Medical Initiative. But she also had orders to wait for official permission. Dr. Rowe, said her assistant, Dr. Young Park. The council's message just came through. Mina read it on her screen. It was everything the Human Council had asked for. A formal apology, recognition of human equality, guarantees of future cooperation, and something else. Something that surprised her. They're offering us full membership in the council leadership, she said. Equal votes on all major decisions. That's more than we had before, Young said. Much more. Mina started typing orders for emergency medical deployment. Get ready to move. We have a lot of people to save. Ambassador Jiho Kim read the council's message in his office on Earth. It was signed by every council member. Even the species that had voted against humans were asking for forgiveness. He walked to President Nam's office and handed her the message. They're offering us everything we asked for, he said, and more. President Nam read it carefully. Joint leadership of the council, equal authority over galactic policy, shared control of military forces. They're scared, Jiho said. They know they can't survive without us. Can we trust them? Jiho thought about Speaker Nothulan and the other council leaders he had worked with. Most of them were good people, who had made a bad decision out of fear. I think so, he said. Fear is a good teacher. They've learned what happens when they push us away. Then we go back? We go back, Jiho said. But as partners, not servants. Admiral Sunho Yoon stood on the bridge of his flagship and watched the largest fleet in human history prepare to depart. Medical ships, engineering ships, supply ships, warships to protect them all. Final count, sir, reported Commander Bora Jin. 2,000 ships, 500,000 personnel, everything we need to stabilize council space. And our terms? Accepted. Completely. Humans will have equal representation on the council. Our technology will be shared, not surrendered. Our military will be partners, not servants. Sunho felt something he had not felt in months. Hope. Signal the fleet, he ordered. We're going home. But even as he said it, he knew it was not really home anymore. Home was where humans were valued, where they were respected, where they were safe. Council space would have to earn the right to be called home again. Captain Minho Park, now Fleet Admiral, led the humanitarian relief effort back into council space. His ships carried medicine, food, and repair teams. At each world, he left behind a simple message. Humanity remembers its friends, he said to the Quilarian leaders who met his medical ships. We remember those who helped us when we needed it. The Quilarians had voted to let humans stay in the galaxy. They were the first to receive full medical aid. We also remember our lessons, he said to the Thraxian commanders whose fleet he was helping to rebuild. We will not forget what we learned about trust. The Thraxians had voted to expel humans. They received aid, but it came with conditions. Human engineers would fix their communication network, but humans would also control it. At each world, the message was the same. Humanity was back, but the rules had changed. Dr. Hana Choi returned to her work with mixed feelings. Her new lab. On the research station, Sejong was bigger and better than her old one. But she missed the simple trust she used to have with alien colleagues. How are the Altarian children? She asked her assistant, Dr. Kyung Min. Responding well to treatment, he said. The new vaccine is working perfectly. Hana looked at the data on her screen. 3 million children had died while humans were away. 3 million children who could have been saved with medicine that already existed. Dr. Choi, Kyung said, the Altarian Health Ministry wants to thank you personally. They're asking if you'll accept a Medal of Honor. Hana thought about it. The same government that had called her too dangerous to practice medicine now wanted to give her an award. "Tell them I don't need a medal," she said. "I just need them to remember why we left." Engineer Somin Jang worked around the clock to repair critical systems across Council space. Her team fixed power grids, communication networks, and defense systems. But she was not the same trusting engineer who had left 6 months ago. "The hegemony wants us to upgrade their entire infrastructure," said her assistant, Engineer Do-hyun. What do we tell them?" "We'll fix what's broken," Somin said. "But upgrades require special authorization from the Human Council." "That's new." "That's necessary," Somin said. "Last time we gave them our best technology, they used it to vote us out of the galaxy." She looked at a message from her old colleague, Krixtal. He was thanking her for saving the children's hospital. He was apologizing for voting against humans. He was asking if they could be friends again. Somin typed a careful reply. Professional but distant. Polite but cautious. Friendship would have to be earned again. Speaker Notholan waited in the council chamber for the human delegation to arrive. Around him, the other council members looked nervous. They had spent months arguing about whether to apologize to humans. Now they would face the consequences of their pride. The doors opened. Ambassador Jiho Kim walked in, followed by President Hee-jin Nam and Admiral Sun-ho Yoon. The humans looked different, harder, more confident. They moved like equals, not like servants asking for permission. "Welcome back," Speaker Notholan said. "Thank you," Jiho said. "We're glad to be here, under the new terms." "About those terms," said the Vorthak High Priest Zeltara. "Some of them seem extensive." President Nam spoke for the first time. "You asked us to leave. We left. You asked us to come back. We came back, but we came back as partners, not as your military servants. And if we don't like the new arrangement, then you can try to manage the galaxy without us again," Admiral Yoon said. "We've seen how well that worked." Zeltara's skin lights flickered with anger, but she said nothing. "The terms are fair," Speaker Notholan said. "Humans have earned the right to equal representation." Jiho took his seat at the council table. For the first time, it was marked as the seat of an equal member, not a junior partner. "Now," he said, "let's talk about how to prevent this from happening again." The session lasted 12 hours. When it ended, the galaxy had new rules. No species could be expelled without proof of actual wrongdoing. All major decisions required a 2/3 majority. Humans had permanent seats on all important committees. Most importantly, the galaxy had learned a lesson about the difference between strength and violence. Humans were strong, but their strength came from building, not destroying. From solving problems, not creating them. Dr. Soo-hyun Cho stood in her new medical facility and watched alien children playing in the recovery ward. These were the children she had saved when she came back. Children who would have died if human pride had been stronger than human compassion. "Dr. Cho," said her assistant, Nurse Gina An, "the Trinali government wants to build a statue in your honor." "A statue?" "For saving their children. They want to call it the healer who returned." Soo-hyun thought about the Trinali mother who had begged her not to leave. The woman whose child had died while humans were in exile. "Tell them to build a library instead," she said. "Fill it with medical knowledge. Make sure everyone can learn from it." "What should they call it?" "The Library of Lessons," Soo-hyun said. "So no one forgets what we all learned." As the months passed, council space slowly healed, but the scars remained. The galaxy was more stable than before, but also more fragile. Everyone knew how quickly civilization could collapse without cooperation. Humans were respected now in a way they had never been before. But respect born from fear was different from respect born from trust. Trust would take time to rebuild, and humans had learned to be very careful about who they trusted with their futures.